Millions of gallons of water from Hoover Reservoir will power Intel's semiconductor plants. And a viewer wanted to know, how clean will that water be when it returns back to the city? Intel estimates it will need 5 million gallons of water a day to turn its blank silicon disks into circuit boards called wafers.
So with semiconductor manufacturing, water is an important ingredient. We use it to clean the wafers. We use it to supply our industrial equipment like cooling towers.
But before a single drop of city water touches a single one of its disks, Intel sends that water through its own water filtration system, which the company says produces pure water.
And that's water that's so clean, it is completely free of any particles or ions or different types of trace minerals, things that are important for us when we're drinking water. But those are things that we can't have when we're using the water to clean wafers because they would damage the product.
When Intel is done with that water, it's returned to the city, which is treated again. This process is part of what Intel calls its net water policy.
So right now, about 80 to 90% of the water that we take in from the water source will be used and returned back to the city. Now, to make up for that balance, that 10 to 20%, we actually partner with nonprofit organizations. We fund their projects to go restore water back to the greater community.
So how clean is that water that's returned to the city?
The water that you send back, can you say with 100% confidence that it is chemical free?
So the water that we use in our factory, before we discharge it, we absolutely treat it to standards set by the EPA, and then we test it before it gets sent back.
Intel plans to be net water positive by the year 2030, which is 5 years after it opens its plant in Licking County. At Hoover Reservoir, Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
The city of Columbus tells us the water Intel returned to the city never goes back into the public drinking or allowed to flow untreated into a river system.